It's quite interesting because people are literally buying silver in Dubai for close to 165 US dollars to $170 per ounce. In Japan, they're buying it for 145 to 150 US dollars. And in Shanghai, China, they're buying it for 135 to 140 US dollars. Now, you might ask yourself, then why is silver trading at 110, 11, 12 US dollars as we see it? Now, this is all happening because there's a big war out there. There are two prices of silver. And as all of you know, silver has literally rallied from about 50 US dollars to 110 US dollars in a very short space of time, even faster than Bitcoin. Literally, people are asking, is this the next Bitcoin? Now, there are silver millionaires and billionaires being born as we speak that are taking advantage of this price movement. Now, in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you everything you need to understand and position yourself for a great wealth transfer that is going on in our lifetime. Now, the same metal, silver, it's trading at a $60, $70 difference all around the world in different places around the globe. Now, financial news is not really covering this very well because there seems to be a silver market fraud. There is a fraud that is going on in the silver market because the silver market has really boomed. And what that means is that there are many people that might have had contracts to deliver silver at a certain price, many people that might have had trading contracts, and now they might find themselves in trouble. Imagine if you had a contract to deliver 5,000 silver ounces per day at the former price and now it's almost doubled. Maybe you might want to get out of that contract, or maybe you might not want to actually supply those people and sell to other people. So there's a big war going out there, and people are saying that hey, silver is actually supposed to be trading at a much higher price than it is. Now remember, in financial markets, when something is being traded in the financial market, although it is a physical commodity like silver, which you can touch, it can be leveraged. So people are saying for every 1 ounce of silver on the market, we're seeing about 300 ounces of silver. So they're saying that silver is actually in a very big demand. Now, this is not just a conspiracy theory. No. There is a market called the futures market where people are discussing this and saying, we're seeing this happen and we're deeply concerned about what is going on out there. Now, I want to ask you if you know anything about silver at the current moment. You need to be aware that there is a lot of conversations that are going on and people are deeply concerned. Now, if you look at it, we've got about, in January alone, 33.45 million ounces of silver were physically withdrawn from silver vaults. In 7 days, 26% of the registered inventory, registered silver, walked out of these vaults. People are done trusting the paper. People want the physical metal. It's not enough for them to just know that they've got silver and everybody's able to trade it and do all these things. They want the physical thing. They are done trusting. And let me give you the numbers because this might scare you, especially if you're a New York banker. Silver exchanges like COMEX, they registered silver inventory is around 420 million ounces. Sounds like a lot, right? They've registered that they've got a lot of silver that they're holding on. But registered does not necessarily mean available. Because a few days ago, no one was actually asking for silver to come to their homes. Now that silver's worth so much, people are saying, well, let me keep it in my own private vault. Let me keep it in my own private area. And especially in places that are safe, people are saying, I'll even keep it at home. We no longer trust the banks. Now, most of the silver is already allocated. It's already spoken for. People have already bought it. That's already sitting there. And now, as people are buying more and more and more, people are entering the market. And you would have noticed if you're a follower of this channel, we actually told you quite early, about 3 days ago, to get involved in silver. And many of you made a lot of money, especially our members that are in our members area. And it's very exciting because we are making money off fundamental metals that had actually been suppressed for a very long time. Now, a lot of people wanting silver and those already owning silver, and this silver already being registered for, where is all this new silver coming from? Where is this demand going to be met by? Because as we all know, economics, demand and supply. So the actual free floating silver analysts estimated that we've got 100 million ounces that's free floating. So if we've got 100 million ounces that's free floating all around the world, and the global silver demand last year was at 1.24 billion ounces, that means that global supply was at 1.01 billion ounces. So that is a 230 million ounce deficit of silver in one single year. The world consumed more than double the available free float in deficit alone. So, where is this silver coming from? If the silver vaults are running dry, the stockpiles are running dry, the reserves have taken over a decade to build up and store it, and now all the silver is gone, we can now understand why silver is actually trading much higher than it is on the paper markets in places like Dubai and in China, because people are saying that the price they're seeing of silver is not exactly the correct price. People are even saying that, hey, the price might actually be manipulated. Now, as you can see, we've got this interesting dynamic where physical silver all around the world is trading much higher. People are selling it for a much higher price. And they're saying to people, the proverbial joke is if you don't want to pay the real price, go on the internet and trade it. Let's see if you'll really own it. So in the internet where people are trading it, it's worth about $110, $100. But over there, it's now different. And these contracts that people are leveraging all over the internet, they're saying that for every 1 ounce of silver, there's 300 paper claims of the real ounces of silver. So that means that people are trading silver on the internet, but people that actually hold silver are saying there isn't enough of that silver. What does this tell you? Now, paper money collapsing. People no longer trusting that the silver is just there. They want to actually hold the silver physically. And that's why exchanges all around the world that sell physical silver are all getting everybody who's giving them proper money, paper money or fiat money, and they're saying, no, we'd rather hold on to silver because of all the wars and everything going on around the world. But however, there is a bank run on silver. So when people are coming in to fetch their silver, there's no silver available. Hence, demand is increasing and the price increase. Now, this did not just start out of nowhere. China had a strategic checkpoint on silver. China decided that they will not allow silver to be exported the way that it was before. They decided that they are going to now hold silver as a strategic reserve in their country, meaning that only specific companies can actually export silver. Now, we all understand what that means. It means that they actually have enough silver, they've hoarded enough silver, and they're trying to stop other people from getting involved in silver. And we know China spends a lot of money on research and development, so they must know something about silver. So people are literally panic buying in the Shanghai Gold Exchange and everywhere in China. It's trading for much higher. Lines are very long. People are panic buying silver. Now ask yourself this very important question. If this is happening and the silver that we have on these exchanges and on these contracts that people are trading online on forex platforms and all these places, it's much lower than the price that people are paying on the ground. What does that tell you about silver? What does that mean about where silver is going? Now, this is a very interesting world because we've seen this happen before. But however, this is happening with a mineral that China controls because China controls about 70% of all refinery when it comes to this mineral. And China is now collecting all the silver. And remember, silver does not just come out of the air. Silver is actually mined in countries like Mexico, Peru, Australia, and most of it gets shipped off to China to be refined. So as of the 1st of January 2026, China changed the rules on everybody. They said that silver is now classified from an ordinary commodity that anybody could just buy at $50 an ounce to now a strategic metal. And that changed everything. Nationally, everybody went out to look for silver. And China only said that only companies 44 companies in China are authorized to be able to export silver. So they said that many of these people that are selling silver outside of China, they're going to stop selling it immediately. And they put very stringent restrictions on which these companies are. They said they must have an annual production of 80 tons and credit lines of $30 million. So hundreds of small refiners who used to supply silver at very low prices are now locked out of the market. So before this policy, China exported over 4,000 tons of silver per year. The metal flowed to America, to Europe, to Japan, to Dubai, everywhere. But now the flow has been choked. And here's what's making this even more interesting. While China is restricting exports to the West, China's domestic buyers are panic buying silver at any price that they can get. They are literally not even asking about relevant prices on the internet. Whatever price they can get, they are buying silver. Now, if you look at this, you get to see that these are the countries that are leading the earth rare minerals. We've got China, Vietnam, Brazil, and Russia. And the United States is also there as well. But China is leading at a very large rate. So you can already tell that many other countries who would want to get into silver have to go and approach China. And China is not playing games with anybody. China has only authorized 44 companies. I am even fearful to say what China or how China rules when it comes to these sort of minerals. So leave in the comment section if you're brave enough to let us know. Do you think China is going to open up more companies? Who controls these companies that are supplying the world? So literally the whole world is in shock of supply of silver, and they're all expecting China to be able to do this. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, a gentleman who I spoke to alongside Success Resources, I've trained many people on artificial intelligence, on investing, on understanding where the markets are going. And remember, this is not financial advice. This is purely for entertainment purposes. But Robert Kiyosaki says silver is going to 200 US dollars. And he said to me, he said, Mr. Bitcoin, I know you love digital stocks, but get your hands on gold and silver. And he's always advocated for that. And he believes that silver will be reaching 200 US dollars very soon. We're already seeing on the ground that people are paying premium for silver. However, on these exchanges, silver is still very low. What does that tell you? What does that mean? Now, silver is not just any other mineral. Silver is in huge demand for solar power. Silver is used for Tesla vehicles. All these electric vehicles, they use more silver. AI servers, they need silver. 5G infrastructure, it needs silver. So silver is critical. The demand for silver will continue to rise. People do need silver for where the world is going. So because of this, even if silver had to go to 300, 400, 500, because we need electric vehicles, because AI servers are needed, silver will still be in demand. Now, this is a beautiful image or exclusive photo of a supplier who is literally overwhelmed at the amount of demand that people are looking for silver for. Because people are now panic buying. There's a rumor out there where many people are panic buying. And remember, China is keeping this silver for itself. They see what is coming. China is preparing for something. And here's the question: are you like China holding silver? Or are you like the countries that are caught out without having any silver? There is a war happening now between paper money and physical assets. And these physical assets, gold and silver, is now winning. And for a very long time, paper money was winning and people trusted in the paper ecosystem. But now we're noticing that when silver costs about $100 in New York, in Dubai, it's now $160, and in China, it's now different. And people can't arbitrage this like they did with cryptocurrency, because how do you take a silver brick and move it intercontinentally if the demand for the silver is not even there? In terms of, sorry, the supply of the silver is not even there in terms of silver that's readily available. No one really expected this up until China did this, and they literally swung 2026 in a direction that many people did not expect it to go. Now, remember, you cannot have an iPhone without silver. You cannot have all these amazing things that people have enjoyed without silver. And many people are calling this to say silver or gold. The truth is finally coming out as to where value actually lies. And in our membership, if you join our membership at level 3 on Facebook or on YouTube, we've taught each and every one of you how you can grab your hands on silver, how you can actually own silver that is insured and backed 1-to-1 and audited as silver. And if you want to make sure that you are like China, holding as much silver as possible and stopping everybody else from getting your hands on silver and just seeing your wealth double. I mean, China has literally seen silver rally from about $50 to 110, 116 US dollars, and the world is still looking for more demand. So I guess you've actually made a lot of money by joining in the membership. So it's actually very free. Now, a lot of people would like to ask banks and vaults to deliver their silver. And rumor goes that many companies, many individuals are asking that their silver gets delivered. However, there is a great shortage, and that continues to influence the price as the price keeps on changing. People are saying we want our silver and the silver they want is not available. Literally, the silver they want is missing. And remember, silver is not something that you can create out of nowhere. Silver is actually created through a mixture or through a combination of other minerals as well, zinc, copper. These are mines that take a very long time to set up, that need licenses, permits. So you can't just wake up the next morning and get silver. So the silver that we've got, if the demand keeps on increasing, we're going to see the price of silver really get high. But there is one thing that people are saying might stop this whole silver rush. And I'm going to talk about it, but I wanted to quickly go through and say the demand of technological devices, the demand of Tesla vehicles is literally causing silver an emergency. Where people are now looking for silver, people are now looking to buy physical silver, people are not trusting exchanges. They're saying we actually want the physical commodity ourselves, and this physical commodity is not available. No one seems to have it. There seems to be a huge supply shock. Now, I can only imagine the billion vaults of London in England, the people that were keeping silver for a very long time. Maybe it's time that all that storage cost that they've been experiencing by keeping physical silver, they're now reaping from it because they're seeing that the price of silver is going to go up. I want to know in the comment section, what is your prediction about silver? I heard a very bold statement. Somebody said silver is the new Bitcoin. What's your prediction? Where do you think silver will go? How much do you think it's going to end up reaching? Now, there are lots of conspiracy theories that are arising, and a lot of people that are coming up with scams and dubious ways to scam people of their funds. And I always say, as you watch, be careful and ensure that you're getting your information from the right places and you're not being scammed and you're also not losing your money. Now, remember, silver is a byproduct of copper and zinc mining. You can't just mine more silver overnight. Operationally, mining engineers are saying it takes 7 to 10 years for you to actually get this right. So, miners apparently are not selling their silver. And there is also a conspiracy of people saying, where are we going to see the silver price go to? At what price will silver get to? Prediction markets are also getting very hot with regards to that. But I want to ask you in the comment section, do me two favors. Number one, let me know, do you hold silver? Are you part of our membership? How much silver do you hold? And are you planning on buying more silver? Are you shorting silver? Are you longing silver? What is your conversation about silver? And always remember to like and subscribe as it helps us bring informative information that helps people make money, informed decisions, and understand the world around them and how money moves. Thank you so much for tuning in and see you in the next episode where we will be revealing some shocking historical manipulation on silver. JP Morgan, it's time we expose them.